Yo, I'm Drookie.
I'm the Flood.
And welcome to the Fortnite update where we talk about all the news, patch notes, and esports related to Fortnite. It is April 17th. This is episode 33 of the podcast. Let's start the show. Flood, we were on a slight hiatus. It was unplanned. Our schedule just kind of like got mismatched. Like you were like, I'm good this day, and I'm like, well, I was good this day, and then we just kind of like forgot about it and left our viewers to like die without knowledge.
I'm gonna blame it on my sweet Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs. Go Jets, go!
Go Jets, go! Are they winning?
It's tied in their series right now.
Is this an NHL team?
This is NHL. Yeah.
I didn't even know Winnipeg had an NHL team.
We've got an NHL team, the Winnipeg Jets.
Right. Let's go, Jets.
We're against the St. Louis Blues right now, and the series is 2-2. Best of 7. Ooh. It's very exciting.
You think St. Louis should have a hockey team?
I mean, they do.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's talk about patch 8.3. Patch 8.3 was released 2 weeks ago, and it brought with us some pretty big changes. First off, the Buccaneers Bounty event, kind of a cool in-game event that they seem to be rolling these out more like often now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that event?
Chase the Ace one or whatever it was called. It's kind of a new version of that. Weird LTMs.
Mm-hmm.
The Buccaneers Bounty event was fun because you didn't really have to do much. Like it just magically happened. Like most of the things that you had to do for the Buccaneers Bounty, you were going to do anyway. You were going to jump out of a cannon probably, etc.
Yeah. And
so maybe with a couple extra little tweaks to it. And you get a really cool emote at the end of it and a couple of fun little items. And the emote was amazing. Like it was a really high-end emote. So, I love it when they give you free stuff. Honestly, anything that gives you free stuff and encourages you to keep playing the game and doing interesting stuff. I'm in, man. I'm in. And it's on theme for their latest, there's pirates and Vikings and stuff going on. And I like it. I'm into it.
I dig it that like it seems like this more thought out like battle pass extension. Versus where before they would just like release like skins into the world that were like pirates. Now it's like there's events and challenges based around the pirates and like the battle pass being tied into it because like the whole thing with Lux is she's hunting the bounty and stuff. So I liked it. I dug it. I thought it was crazy they gave that emote away for free.
Love it
because that thing was like nice and hilarious.
So funny. It was adorable. And it's more cohesive. You're right. The battle passes have been getting more cohesive. It's good.
Let's talk about the weapons and items in 8.3. First up, the Infantry Rifle had its damage decreased from 40 and 42 to 38 and 40, but its fall off damage at maximum range had been increased from 26 and 28 to 32 and 34. So this is the green and blue infantry rifles. Not so much a nerf, more of a balance. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it hurt because the infantry rifle was getting really, really good, it felt like. And we now know that clearly was meant to clear the way for the 8.4 patch, which I don't know if we just jump ahead and talk about that right now. But I think what happened in 8.4 is they released a gold and purple version of the infantry rifle, the heavy infantry rifle or whatever you want to call it. And I think they just needed to nerf the damage on the previous one so that this one would still have respectable damage and not be overpowered because it is still insanely powerful. I think it starts at 44 as the high end of the gold damage.
Yeah.
And that is like, it's a strong gun. it hits like a tank.
Huge. To tell someone that you're going to hit them for like 88 damage in the head, like that is that thing is like super accurate, resets really fast. First shot accuracy is nuts on that weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to hit them 88 in the head and then click again real quick, like it's nutty. Like it's so, and it fires fast, man. The damage per second is out of control. It is a really strong gun. I can see it. When you pair that with an SMG, like infantry rifle, SMG, good pump shotgun, you're done. That's it. That's all you need. Now you've got 2 slots for health and utility. Go nuts.
Absolutely. And I think that them nerfing the damage overall, but lengthening the like fall off damage or whatever, so that like this becomes a more mid-range to long-range weapon instead of a mid-range AR, really helps solidify it to have its own spot against the AR. I'm sorry, the AK, because to me, why take the infantry rifle when you have the AK? This changes that. I still overall don't like the infantry rifle as much as I used to back from the 8.2 days or 8.1. But
you loved it when it was a projectile. Yeah.
Projectile, yeah. It was definitely
There's
underrated.
just something satisfying about hitting a projectile. I get that.
it shot faster, and or it didn't shoot faster, but there was less recoil, so you could shoot it faster and more accurately. You could just like laser people, bro. It was really fun. But there's a good area. All right, next up in 8.3, we had a big feature added to Fortnite. The Reboot van was added. Reboot vans are now available around all the POIs. When squad members are eliminated, they now drop a Reboot card, which can then be collected by the other squad members. Reboot vans and cards are disabled in solos, big team limited time events. Pick up the Reboot card, take it to the van, and you can spawn your teammate with 100 health, a 1 common pistol, 36 light ammo, and a 100 wood. Once you do, the Reboot van goes on a cooldown of 120 seconds. All right, Reboot van, what do you think?
I think this is awesome. We've been hearing rumors about this for a long time, and everyone's going to accuse them of ripping it off of Apex. They claim they've been working on this for a long time. I don't care one way or another where it came from. I think it's a really, really good idea. I think it was specifically would have been a great idea when we still had Siphon in all modes. That's when we really needed this. But maybe this is a precursor to them eventually bringing that back, because now we can bring people back, which is kind of cool. I haven't played enough duos and squads to really feel the impact in a big way, even though it's been like 2 weeks. I do want to sing "You Can Be My Hero" every time you've resurrected me so far, which thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Are my hero. I love that they added the gun and the little bit of mats to it.
Yep.
I've always said that one of the number one things I'd love to see in this game is that every house roof should have a gray pistol in it. Every single house and building in this game should have there should be gray pistols littering the floors. Like there should never not have a gun. There should always be a gun in your inventory. And so this is basically that. Like you've got at least a gun. You've got something to defend yourself. And of course you need 100 mats just so you can build a wall and a ramp. Like let me build a wall, a ramp, defend yourself. Because this game is all about that. You need that. So I think those were necessary. It gives you at least a bare minimum to like exist in this world once the game has already started. So I'm really happy that they did that. I think it's really smart. I think it's a good move. I think it's going to make squads and stuff a lot more interesting, because one of the number one things I hated is if one person gets knocked out in the beginning of a squad game, now you just have to sit there and wait for half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever it is. And it's boring, like this keeps you interested.
Yeah. I think it's a really good item. I think they took what Apex did, whether or not they admit that they copied them or not. Like you said, it doesn't matter. But they took the Apex system and they even further improved on that. Apex brought this new idea to Battle Royales that you can respawn people. Fortnite, like giving people a common pistol, 100 wood, says you're not just going to come back defenseless. You have a fighting chance. Another big thing I think they did that was a lot smarter than Apex is that they put these things in the middle of the POIs. Or not directly in the middle, but like they're inside of a POI. And Apex, you have to rotate out until the in between it into your rotations to spawn people. This, not so much. Guess what? You finish up at Salty Springs, you can bring your team right back so everyone can just get started looting again and get on with the game. Whereas I think in an Apex, you maybe have to run to the in-between house between Dusty and Salty. That's where they would have put set up. And it just feels awkward, unnecessary. So I think it's a more streamlined system for that. And I love
keeps
the
a
fact
little momentum going.
Yes. And I love the fact that like once you use it, it doesn't go away so that another team can use it again. Like it's a cooldown. It feels good.
I mean, that like what you just described, you're 100% right. Because a lot of the times it's like, oh yeah, my squad won Pleasant Park. Like you win the POI on drop oftentimes. That's how it feels anyway. You're like, oh, we're the winners of Greasy Grove or whatever it was at the time. And now that you've won that, well, let's bring our guy back. Let's bring our person back. So that makes so much more sense because now we're the winners. So we get to bring our person back and we get to reloot and keep on moving on with the game.
It's like one of the things that feels so obvious. I'm sure the people over at EA or Respawn, the people who made Apex are probably like kick themselves. Like the obvious thing, you just don't see it because it does work better. It's more fluid. And I think, if more BRs start to copy this, all the better because it makes BRs enjoyable for an entire group.
Any BR that's got squads more than solo. Yeah. Like, let's go.
All right. Next up in the gameplay side of patch 8.3, the Baller took a pretty huge nerf. They reduced his health from 300 down to 200. What are your thoughts on this nerf?
This was huge and necessary. I know that they'd talked about, or they indicated in the past that they were going to make it so you could shoot through the ball. And we haven't seen that it happen yet. But the nerf of 100 HP, I think, did all the work that they needed it to do. You see it instantly in competitive. There's still balls at the end, but they are less, and people are a lot more liberal with knocking those things out. One heavy snipe shot, and then like a couple AR shots, and it's done. It's like it takes so little to knock a ball out now that it feels real dangerous to be running one in the end. And there, it's a lot more likely that you're going to get killed on rotation. If a ball starts taking a couple hits, I'm scared of flying through the air with it without a redeploy in my inventory because they're going to kill me. You know what I mean? Like there's so many ways to die with the ball now that I think that's really, really good, because I've always really enjoyed the ball from its perspective of like rotation. It's so much fun. It feels so free and liberating to be able to like just move through the map, you know, as quickly as you can and not have to worry about zones. And there were so many of them. I really enjoy it from a fun perspective and from a rotation perspective. And I don't feel like it was that overpowered until you start seeing competitive endgame where it's just a goddamn joke. And I think they really moved in the right direction with this. I don't know if it's 100% solved yet, but I'm in a place where I don't mind it so much personally, but
I hate that they're nerfing this thing in the pubs just to appease competitive, because there's without a doubt this thing is way too overpowered for competitive play. It was ridiculous what you're watching in games.
Yeah.
And I think that is where the nerf was aimed at. They talked about how the reason they did this is because they weren't able to do like the shooting through the glass thing, like you said. And that to me was even too much. This is a fun item. The baller is a fun pub item. And now I think is taking something that was super fun and took it to a place where it's just not fun for the casual player to use, because you can get lasered out of the thing. Because it's so easy to kill this thing, I honestly feel like they need to do something where it's like jumping out of an airplane where you get a redeploy. You should be able to redeploy from a baller, because 200 health is nothing for the amount of height that you can find yourself at very quickly. Like very quickly you can get height unexpectedly.
I like that though. There should be a risk to that. You know what I mean? Like it's an insanely rewarding item in terms of your movement. So there should be a risk to that. I'm good with there being a risk reward there. Like give up an inventory slot for redeploy if that's what you want to be able to do. Like you have to make a sacrifice. You've got to make a sacrifice to have that kind of great like abilities. And I feel like that's reasonable. I'm not upset with that. I have no problem with that. I think it's in the right direction.
I don't have fun with it in pubs anymore. I don't like go swinging like crazy heights and stuff, because I know I get lasered out.
Because you're scared, Drunky. Stop living your life in fear.
Whatever. Fear keeps us alive, and it keeps us, to the end of it. It felt like a very fun item that they are trying to bend around competitive, and you can't bend this game around competitive. They should have just been disabled for competitive. That's it. Like, did you see the post on Reddit where the guy was saying the reason they don't want to take ballers out is because of server performance?
Wait, like, what? Well,
if there's 10 people in balls at end game, guess they're not building. Less stress on the server.
Oh wow! Imagine if that was true. That's so conspiracy theory-ish, but I doubt it. But that's so funny. I think Fortnite is just filled with unintended consequences. They do so many changes so fast that I think they are just riddled with unintended consequences constantly. I think the fact that their BR was a success was an unintended consequence of building from Save the World. Like honestly, like I think this is a company that just keeps winning and getting crazier on unintended consequences. All the power to them. I love them, but like, I don't think it's maniacal. I think it's more just hilarious.
I think they're Machiavellian. I think they're very shrewd, man. All right, let's move into patch 8.4, which was released this morning on April 17th. Yep. The egg launcher. Once again, the Easter egg launcher is back in the game. Everyone's favorite egg themed grenade launcher skin is back. This is a visual only change for the grenade launcher. Seems like a bit of a lie.
They say that, but I don't know maybe this is just like the power of user interface, but it feels like a completely different weapon because the sound is different and it looks different. It feels and it sounds different, and that sound effect, it completely changes the way I see that projectile moving. Yep. And I know it must be all in my head. Like they're saying it's just a skin. I believe them, but it's crazy the power that the way a sound effect works affects your the way you see a projectile in the game. It's nuts.
100%, man. Like I get that it's fun. I hate every time they do this because they do this for Christmas too. With like they turn into a snow. I can never tell where these eggs are at. I don't know where they are, bro. It's hard to tell where they are. From the sound's horrible. I can't stand it when they do this, man. Just leave the grenade launcher alone. This
it's
is
somehow
horrible.
scarier than regular grenade launchers too. Like it's way scarier. Like I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm scared. Like it's nuts. I don't. The psychological damage that this does every year. I don't understand how it's so impactful on me, but it is.
And there's something about seeing like a sphere, like a regular grenade launcher. I know where that's gonna bounce. I see an egg wobbling around. I'm like, which way it's gonna go, bro? Yep. I don't know how this works.
It's so our brains are crazy.
All right, so let's talk about the new game modes because since we talked about the infantry rifle before, that's all that was added for weapons items. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the brand new limited time mode, Royale. Climb aboard a plane and take to the skies in this fast-paced mode where players fight to be the last one flying. The Air Royale is lifted off in the duos only mode. Each plane has 3 lives. Players will respawn until they lose their plane's last life. Touching the ground instantly eliminates the player. Parking the plane on the ground for more than a few seconds will cause it to explode. Hijacking another team's plane will add that plane to your existing number of plane lives. The storm has a ceiling that gradually lowers throughout the match. Loot chests of 5 different varieties fall from the sky and can be flown through. So like little rings that you fly through.
Yep.
If a player receives a chest containing a weapon they already have or worse quality, they will receive the ammo. Floating repair kits can also be found that heal damage to the planes and grant health and shields to players. New mode, Air Royale. What do you think, man?
I haven't had a chance to play it yet, and I know you did, so I'm really excited to hear some of your thoughts. But I like, just off the cuff, like listening to it and hearing about it and seeing you play it earlier, it looks pretty fun, honestly. It looks pretty darn fun. And I like that we had the lava mode before, and now in the air mode, the ceiling moves. So I like that it's a battle, within the Battle Royale world where there's this one vector of shrinking zone. They're adding another 3-dimensional vector of this is shrinking and adding to the intensity. That's really fun and interesting. I like the way that you can pick up stuff. I like the idea that they added a new way of picking up materials through fly through chests essentially. I think that's really smart. I think it sounds really fun. I like the idea of hijacking planes being of benefit to you, and I don't know, it sounds like it sounds pretty fun.
It's definitely a very interesting concept. I had a lot of fun at first. Once I kept playing it, I just kind of ran out of gas on it. I'm just like, okay, I get the concept. It's a fun concept at first. Maybe if I had a really good wingman or something, it'd be funner. I was kind of playing solos for a little bit.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't my cup of tea. It kind of felt like a, how do you describe it? Full metal. Oh man. It's just it's a battle royale if it was with vehicles. It's exactly what it is. The zone shrinks. It's fun. The ring system where if you go through different loot rings, it changes the type of weapon that you're shooting, right? So instead of a Gatling gun that's on top of your plane, if you go through a purple chest, you'll have flaming ammo. If you go through a golden one, you'll have lasers on your planes for a limited time.
I think it's really cool that they've been able to build that into Fortnite though. How hard do I now predict an indie developer basically copying this LTM and making it a full game? You know what I mean?
They should.
The fact that they were able to build this in is really neat. I don't know. And I think for variety, and I'm trying to put myself in the position, because I get bored of LTMs personally as well.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to put myself in the position of a kid playing Fortnite. I think this would be a blast. Sure. I think I would have a ton of fun with my buddies, on my PS4 at home playing. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I like that they did it. I like that they just keep doing weird, crazy stuff. I love that they just keep doing crazier and crazier things, because I think that is innovating this battle royale space, whether we like it or not, or whether we think it is or not. This stuff trickles out.
It really does. I think my biggest problem with it is the time to kill a plane. It just takes forever. And your plane has 2,000 health. Your gun shoots for 30. The upgrades are 200 a shot. But then they have the things that heal your planes for 1,000 by flying through. It's just it takes forever to kill planes. Yeah. I think if it was a little bit faster, it would be more rewarding, because when you outmaneuver somebody and get behind them, you'd be able to that'd be a lot more fun for me.
Sure. And I mean, that makes sense. That's a fine-tuning thing, you know what I mean? They essentially created a new battle royale by doing this. It's a completely different game again. And so of course it's going to need a little bit of tweaking, but it's a fun idea. I'm into it.
I agree. Very out of nowhere too. Out of nowhere, this thing came along.
Well, now they can sell us that new set of Flyboy skins or whatever, which is actually pretty cool. For 2,000, you get 4 different skins and a back bling that counts kills. That's why I want it, and I hate that I want that, but I do.
I totally don't want to buy any more skins. That back bling though,
I know it's killing me a little bit. I don't have enough V-Bucks right now, and I was looking at it like, oh, but I want that back bling.
It's just it's the way it's like kind of steampunky with the way that like the numbers look, like they're electrified numbers. They're orange.
It's really freaking cool, bro.
Yeah, it really is, man.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted. I'm gonna try to resist.
Time mode. The food fight deep fried has been added to the game.
Yes.
Jump into food fight, except now the lava raises up from the ground. What do you think about this?
Same deal, honestly, as before. Like, I've watched you play. I didn't get a chance to yet today. It looks like a blast. I thought that the lava mode was one of the more fun and interesting modes that they added. It, like, I don't know if I would have sustainably enjoyed it, but for the times that I did try it, I had a blast because it adds one more vector of threat that I think is really fun and interesting. And I think it would probably add something fun to the food fight mode. But I didn't really get a chance to try it because I've never been interested in food fight. What did you think?
I dig it. I dig the idea of food fight. I wish they would give us a separate map because like I want to build a bigger base, but it's so hard to build up to this base with the food places or your tomato head and your burger head. I would like to build more of a base beforehand, but it just takes forever to get the mass to do that. So yeah, I want them to make a mode. If you watch any of like the Fortnite Battle Royale trailers or whatever, everyone's got like this like tiny castles they build where they got these little forests that they built. I want them to achieve that vision, and I think they're close to it on food fight. I think they got a little bit further. All right, Flood, I see you over there punching mics. They got a little bit more to go. That's what I like about food fight. It turns into a cluster after a little bit. It just turns like I feel aimless when I'm in. I just feel aimless.
Yeah. And that's actually typically my issue with most LTMs and stuff is that I just feel like, okay, everyone's just doing stuff, but nothing really matters. So never feels like there's stakes.
Sure. All right, that's it for both the patches. One we missed, 8.3, 8.4 that came out today. So let's talk about the World Cup in Fortnite. Okay. The World Cup has been going on. We had our first week of it last week. It was a solos open qualifiers into open qualifiers into open semis and then to finals. How much of the World Cup were you able to watch?
Not as much as I would have liked, but I definitely tuned in for quite a bit. I really was enjoying it quite a bit, actually. I had a lot of fun. I watched a little bit of the qualifying day, but I watched more on the actual day of. I actually ended up watching a fair bit of the European one just because the timing worked out better for me. I really enjoyed it. I was thrilled. I thought that it was really fun gameplay for the most part. Did you catch a lot? Or?
I did catch a lot of it. I didn't catch the first day because I was participating in it.
Yep.
Not gonna lie,
I
didn't do too hot. I tilted hard, didn't do that well in it. Very, very hard competition. People were really playing from the first game. Normally in these like pop-up cups, like the first game, everyone just kind of W keying. Like right away, the stakes were higher in this. Yeah, people were on for it. From what I watched the day after, it's good. It's Fortnite. Fortnite competitive is fun to watch. The way they do the replay system. Their spectator system, not so much for me, man.
You know what? I watched it through streamers. I was watching Lupo stream quite a bit.
Yes. When they first started doing skirmishes, they would pull up individual streams. And it was harder for them because they would have to track, 30 odd people's streams, make sure they're synced up time-wise so the action is seamless. I get that it's harder. But watching them through a streamer's actual view is 10 times better than the spectator system that they've been doing. Because what they do is they let the games get played, then they go back into the replay. They use their replay system that we all have access to then watch them and produce them that way. Yeah. And it has all like the lagginess that goes into the aiming. Like it doesn't feel like high production. I wish they would just go back to watching streamers, man.
Yeah, I agree generally because I love the idea that you can get those wide shots every now and again that can be kind of interesting and really show the scale of how crazy a battle fight is and have all the little arrows so you know where everyone is. I like glimpses of that, but I would love to have that intercut more with the actual streamer's perspective because I feel like that is the most interesting part. That's where you really see how hard they're trying. That's where you really see like the threat level that they're experiencing and the accuracy of their shots, what it looks like on their screen. And that's what you want to see. So But I do like those little intercuts of, oh, this is where we're at. This is everyone's moving around this mountain. Like, I like
great.
that. That's cool. But they're intercutting the wrong pieces, maybe. I don't know. As I say, I watched a bunch of it mostly on Dr. Lupo's, and I really liked his rebroadcast. I think he was doing a great job.
I just don't understand why they can't build the system to where they can just be in the game live and there's no lagginess to watching where the players like shooting.
Yeah, like it's an invisible character that doesn't take up an enemy and they can just run around. They'd be like the drone in the replay system, but it would be live. I don't know. It
just every other game I watch competitively, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, they have real-time action where they can go into a player's perspective, and see them aiming and shooting directly without this kind of weird delay that makes it lag. You don't get to appreciate how good these players are. Because all of a sudden it's like, did he miss that? How close was he? Oh, wait, here's 70 damage. That's a headshot. What?
Now, that's peculiar, too, because we just had the issue with them getting rid of stretch res, which I don't know if we talked about too much, but hey, guys, they got rid of stretch res if you hadn't heard. Well,
it's official. They locked it.
I mean, now one of the arguments for that might have been that maybe it had to do with the tweakiness of their replay system. Maybe everyone being on the same resolution, maybe perhaps helped their replay computer. I have no idea how that would make any
weird.
Sense.
I mean, I don't know what's under the hood. I don't know why that would affect
because that's locals. It doesn't make sense to me either. But I don't know, man. I don't know why they can't do it. I'm just not sure.
I wish they would be able to show it because, when you just see a player holding a wall, you don't get to see the edit that they're planning. You don't get to see how fast they're flicking their edits, and that's all stuff you get from watching it in real time. And I think it shows. Tfue was streaming to over 100,000 people. Ninja was streaming to over 50,000 people. And the Fortnite channel had 30,000 people.
Yeah.
And for a major company with a major tournament going on to not be able to break more than 50,000 concurrent viewers on their main broadcast is a pretty hefty blow to the investment they made because the studio they built is brand new and looks great. They are bringing in casters for this stuff. They have a team of about 5 people there. All that stuff costs money.
Yep.
And they got money to burn, but to invest that type of money and only get 30,000 viewers, there is definitely a gap in the spectating as a viewer. There's a gap between the viewer and the broadcast.
Once we get to the live, though, like once this is near the end, I believe everyone gets flown out and there's like a in-person tournament. That's where we might see that their channel itself thrive more. This is actually like a testament, though, to the fact that Fortnite has always been very open about letting streamers rebroadcast, and like Ninja was bigger than their stream ever in the early days of the early tournaments. Ninja's stream was always the big one. It was never Fortnite. And I mean, I think they kind of made their bed with that. Like the Fortnite channel itself maybe never got to get the same foothold that some other, like the OWL's channel might get with Overwatch. You know what I mean? Like, so I think they kind of made their bed that way, and I'm okay with that, and hopefully it'll continue to grow. And I think with the live events is where it will really shine and thrive. But if you're going to have other broadcasters rebroadcast that are obscenely famous in the Twitch world, that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point, but I find myself not even clicking on the main Fortnite channel, and I would rather watch commentators talking about multiple games rather than finding like 1 or 2 people to watch, or like how Lupo rebroadcasted it. I would rather have the live commentary and the production and all that. It just I
agree. Lupo did a great job, though. He had like 4 or 5 streams up of people that he knew you'd be interested in, waited for ads to be gone, all that kind of stuff. Like he knew what was going on. He would follow along. He did a great job in my mind.
Sure.
But you're right. Fortnite should be the one doing the great job.
Yes. Which, Lupo will be at the World Cup broadcasting. So next up, let's talk about customs, man. We've been playing a lot of customs lately.
Yeah. We both have customs keys or whatever, and I've just finally cracked it open the other night. It was late night on my stream, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I haven't tried it. I wasn't sure if I'd like it. I had a very small amount of people at that time, and I had a blast. There's something about playing with your community when you see them kill you or you kill them. There's just something hilarious and fun about it. So I had a blast. Then I did it again the following day, had a few more people, and really had a lot of fun. I particularly like playing a game where there's like a peace treaty basically until the third circle finishes closing, and then everyone loses their mind, because it's like everyone just gets to play endgame, and it's really, really fun. it was fun until, of course, then you had a few bad apples come in and start breaking it, because everyone loves to troll. The moment they see the word customs, they come in and troll. So now there's a bot to get around that, but it's a lot more work and it's a whole thing. I would love to see more work in the customs code area of this. I know from watching like some PUBG streamers, for example, that they have a myriad of selections. They can select which guns will spawn. They can select how it works, etc. I really hope that next step is coming for Fortnite, because I would love to be able to just set the rules and then not have to worry about it, because you can't break the rules because I set them in the lobby in advance. And also there's some weird stuff where like anyone with a creator code can start your game. You showed me that. I had no idea that was a thing. That's crazy.
That's a rough one.
So there's definitely some, and like I hate to say it, but a lot of people have creator codes. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna happen. So it's very easy to troll, and it's very easy to and it sucks to have to use an honor system to manipulate the rules of a game. But I really do have a lot of fun with this. I'm really excited to do more of it with my community, and like it's just a fun thing to do with my people, and I really hope to do more of it. And you know, I hope Fortnite is still innovating on this. I know they've got a lot on their plate, but I really hope there's a team that's working on customs for us.
Yeah. When I see all the options that like creative mode has, I would love that team to integrate that into customs and for them to expand on the system, because the system I don't think was made to be played the way it is now.
Mm-hmm.
They had just now really started letting creators run customs consistently as like kind of a permanent thing, I guess. Last time they did it was in February. Now they gave them back recently, and everyone's loving them. But it's like you said, it's like a early version of a system that needs to be improved. I wish I could ban people from customs. If I know somebody's not playing the way we want them to as a community, I wish that like if I had them blocked on Epic, that they couldn't even get to my customs.
Yeah. There's definitely some tweaking that needs to be done. Like it just needs to be done, because I think that honestly, in my mind, especially on Twitch, I feel like customs might be like the long-term future of this game. Like it's a big deal in the long term of where this game is going to go and how it's going to persist in the zeitgeist of Twitch and the user base. Sure. I think that customs might kind of be the future of this game. So like they got to get on this. It's going to become, there's going to be competitive Fortnite, there's going to be customs Fortnite, and then there's going to be like weird LTMs and mini games for funsies. That's what's going to happen. Like it's going to split into these kind of categories. So
and it's honestly some of the most fun I've had in Fortnite in months, man, because
100%.
There's something about it. I was running a lot of Team Rumble customs, right? And I'm normally not somebody who likes Team Rumbles. I kind of warm up on it. I think there's a lot of bad players in Team Rumbles. It's mindless. Like they're all just bots running around, really. But then you play with people who know what they're doing, and Team Rumble turns into this whole other thing. Yeah. And then you're fragging out people you know. And so you're like, oh, I know that person. I know that skin now. And like you keep chasing them down. Like there's something like fun about it.
I love that you started to know people by their skins too. Like I know you're out there. And then like I'm talking to the camera because I know they're watching too. And I'm like, oh, you son of a gun. I know what you're up to. And then you're like mowing them down. And it's just, there's something magically fun about it. I don't know.
Absolutely. So it's like, I'm glad they're doing this. This is great. This is a lot of fun. Just a minor improvements to the system to get us rolling. And then like you said, some more adjustments. Could you imagine being able to run a scrim customs lobby where you got to set the item pool? Like, my heart flutters thinking about it.
I'm just imagining like I can picture their UI even with like the little toggle switches and the various things that I can, and sliders to just choose how, like where my circles are going to be or how fast the circles are. Like those are probably toggles and switches that they have and set. So like, just give us a UI for it and away we go. Everyone's happy.
We're good. All right. I'm loving customs, man. I had a fun time playing with you. I wish we could find each other on opposite teams every once in a while. I'm just saying.
Oh, bring the thunder, baby. I'll get you.
Could you imagine if you could queue up with like 20 people like that against another customs lobby? So we could take like my 20 people versus your 20 people.
That would be insane.
Right? Like the things you could do with that would be
that would be really interesting. There's so much potential. Like it could get wild. Like customs could really get wild and crazy. And where it's at is already fun, but it's so much like just built on trust and community right now, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But I want there's inevitably going to be a lot of people coming in. So let's, give us some rules. Let me tweak some settings, baby.
Give me some toggles.
Yeah, I want to flip some switches.
That's going to do it for episode 33 of the Fortnite update. Thanks for listening. Sorry about missing last week. We'll see you guys next week for episode 34. I'm Drunky, by the way. You can find me on twitch.tv/Drunky and my co-host, The Flood.
Twitch.tv/The Flood.
All right, see you guys next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.